So welcome YouTube to Resto Designs, and in today's video we're jumping back onto the Mark IV, my daily driver, my Wagon R as I've called it, with the target of trying to get this to 220 horsepower with an engine conversion and loads of bolt-ons. So this is part 6 in the series of videos. It's worth watching the playlist with all the other videos of the build up to this point and what I've covered. So in the last video in part 5, which was dealing with the injectors, the car actually improved in performance. It went from a 12.6 to a 11.5 0 to 60, and the quarter mile dropped down from an 18s to a high 17s. So we're heading in the right direction. Let's see if this now will also help us go in that right direction of dropping, hopefully maybe lose some weight with the standard system over this. It'd be interesting to see if there is a weight difference, and also if there's a performance gain by doing this. I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's actually fit this stuff onto the car. So let's get cracking and remove the old system and get this new Milltec system onto the car.
Right guys, so before we get into doing the exhaust system, there's a few things I need to fix. I've had a problem with the ABS sensor, as well as the fuse box on top of the battery. It's loose. Let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. So as you can see, this is there's supposed to be like a little bracket that sits on here, and you can see it's just loose with vibration. It's not going to take long before it starts to fracture this thing and starts to crack. Also, I have a problem with the earth lead. It's a bit too big, as well as the battery is a small one. So what I've done, I've taken it off the Project Brexit car, which is a full-size battery. It's a Bosch one. It's a good one as well. And this is actually the setup I think that should be on the car. Actually, I don't know. Someone's literally just fitted this on. So what I'm going to do is obviously change the battery tray with the backing on it. It's got the little slider to hold the cables in place. The different kind of fuse box that actually sits and is held into place. Kind of it clips onto here and is held into place by there. So that'll look a lot neater as well. The battery earth terminal had obviously been over tightened up to a point where, even though it was fully tight, it still wouldn't tighten up the battery, and you had to put a screw in it and it was still loose. So again, I've taken it off the Brexit car and I've cleaned up all the terminals to make sure you've got nice contact on all the sides to make sure good earthing takes place. So I'm just in the process of fitting that done. No surprise at all, this little bit that was actually supposed to be holding all these cables here, which is quite important really, was not really holding anything at all. It was broken. So took this off the donor car to put this back on, because it's quite important really not to have these big heavy duty cables just rattling around and basically chafing through and maybe shorting out on something because somebody just couldn't remove it properly. Why am I not surprised with this car? Everything people seem to have touched have broken on this. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to replace this on there now. Someone's literally just fitted a petrol little battery tray. I mean, that looks like that fits on a really small battery really, whereas you can see the difference in this tray. And for the battery that should be in the diesel, this is what should be mounted, not this little thing here. Obviously they've just taken parts of a petrol car and bolted them on. Alright, let's remove the rest of this. After a few days of fitting those TT hubs, if you haven't watched that video, you should also watch that video where I've also fitted the TT hubs and wishbones and showed you the difference and the benefits of fitting those. The right side ABS sensor stopped working, traction light came on and ABS light come on. Scanned it, came up with that side, so I've got a cheap replacement. Just going to bolt that on now. Okay, right, so box up the ABS sensor. Also done all the battery tray, finished that all up. Looks a lot neater, a lot tidier, looks a lot more professional, and at least I've sorted out a potential future problem with that kind of fuse box, that wire just flapping around. Okay, so let's move this back inside and let's get this exhaust fitted now. So yep, so I've welded on the new Flexi with my dodgy welding. Also, when I was grinding this off, actually, you could actually see all the way through it actually. So yeah, this was blowing major. So that's gone. So as with any exhaust system, I guess you're gonna start from the back to the front. So you're gonna jack it up, and let's see how rusty, you can't see much under there. Let's see how rusty this exhaust system is. Alright guys, so underneath here, the exhaust system actually looks in pretty good condition. But when I can tell, and it's only a one box system as well, so I think the standard system would have a box there in the middle somewhere. And also I can see here it's definitely not, because it's actually, as you can see, it's got a join here. So yeah, it's a genius point to put that there, right on top of the crossbeam. It was knocking. Alright. So like I said, first things first, let's just remove this back box and then work our way to the front. The straightforward bit has been done, which is removing the old exhaust system. It looks like it still had the original box, and actually what someone's done is they've welded on a little, I don't know, flange of something else quite badly onto there and made it into a one box system. Obviously a small bore, but a one box system nevertheless. I'm looking at the tailpipes. I'll cut those off, and then maybe at one point, if I can be asked, I'll weld them on to the Milltech if it really needs it. I'm not sure if it does actually. It's not that much of a difference. It's not like you can see it through the back valance. It maybe from a smoke point of view, you don't want the smoke coming from too underneath the car. It might come into the cabin instead of actually going out the back of the car. So maybe that might be an issue, but well, like I said, what I'll do is I'll cut those off anyway and chuck this system away in case I do need to at some point at a later date. Just cut those off and weld on the longer ones. Okay, so now it's not the so straightforward bit, which is the downpipe. So what I'm going to do is obviously just remove this cover, remove the two 13s that support there for that bracket, and then I can actually could have to remove some of this intake pipe and the airbox maybe, so I can actually reach around to get to those 312s. I think they're normally 12 mils actually that holds the flange onto the turbo, and hopefully they won't snap as well. So it wasn't so bad actually taking this downpipe off. It's pretty easy. On closer inspection, I can see it's been off before. It's got some exhaust paste on there, which really isn't needed and isn't recommended actually. But yeah, the flex is blowing as well, which I actually couldn't really tell. But also, like I said, on closer inspection, you can see it's been welded up here, and it's obviously been decatted. So someone's actually done like a little decat and a middle box delete on it. It didn't make any sound at all. It doesn't look like it helped the performance in any shape, way, or form either. But yeah, so now this is all off. Starts the process of fitting on my downpipe and obviously the middle section in the back box. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so there's nothing really to see here. It's kind of all going on down there. You can't really see it, but let me just go underneath and show you. I mean, all I need to do now is literally just put that clamp on over there. But the system's all up. The middle box is a little bit lower than I'd like it to be. I need to kind of rotate it a little bit. And the back box is on. Yep, it does end a bit shorter than it should do maybe. Over here somewhere. But, I mean, it's not so bad. But yeah, I think I will actually chop these off at a later date and just extend them and put the standard ones on there so it looks more OEM plus, I guess, in the end. Alright, so let's drop this on the floor, see what it sounds like. If there's any sound, diesels don't really get much of a sound, and obviously straight piped. And let's take it to the draggy strip and see if I can knock a few tenths off my 0 to 60 and quarter mile time, hopefully. Alright guys, so we've done the exhaust. We're going to do the best of 3 runs. So it's ready to go, alright, before the next car comes. park it up and see what it's got. What can I see there? Okay, so it's more or less the same time. It hasn't really dropped from what I can see, the 0 to 100. So right guys, as you've seen, that's what an 11-second car looks like. It looks really, really slow. It is painfully slow. It looks like the exhaust basically has made no difference at all. I did 3 runs. They're all pretty much the same. 11.5 seconds, 0 to 100, 0 to 62. And like I said, it seems like on a standard 115 anyway, the exhaust system, you know, turbo back makes very little difference. I'm sure as you kind of go up the power figures and start to put a remap, the exhaust will actually become a limiting factor and will come into its own. So, you know, it's hard to actually gauge from this, but it looked like it made literally 0 difference. Even driving it, okay, it felt a little bit more responsive, maybe a little bit more torquier in the mid-range, but it made literally no difference to the quarter-mile time, the terminal speeds, the times, or the, you know, the sprint time. It made no difference at all. So guys, we've come to the end of another video. Thanks for watching. There's gonna be loads more content on this. We're gonna bolt on an intercooler, do an ECU swap, a few ECU swaps on this, and loads of other little bits and pieces of content and repairs and how-tos. So keep watching the channel if you want to see more on this car. I've also got more content coming, Mark II content coming. I've also got more Mark III content coming. Okay guys, so thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please comment, subscribe, like, ding-a-ling-a-ling, click on the notification bell, and be safe.